The stars shimmered like frozen fire across the obsidian canvas of Sector 7X Delta, a stretch of space so deep within sovereignty territory that even its patrols grew complacent. That complacency shattered when the anomaly appeared. It came without warning. No warp signature, no gravitational disturbance, not even the telltale ripple of subspace entry. One moment the system was empty. The next, it was there. A single vessel. Human. On the edge of Varnak space, the Dominion's outer listening post went dark for 4.3 seconds, just long enough to register something impossible. When systems rebooted, all sensors locked on the intruder. One ship. Human-made. Sleek. Angular. Silent. Inside the grand chamber of the Varnak Council, the news was received with a mixture of bewilderment and amusement. "You're certain it's just one ship?" scoffed High Lord Zetak, his gill pouches flaring with disbelief. His voice rippled with mocking laughter as he tapped a clawed finger against the data tablet. "Confirmed, Your Eminence," replied Subchronicler Velan. "No escort, no accompanying fleet, no broadcast or challenge issued. They entered our territory alone, boldly, almost arrogantly." Whispers rippled through the chamber like wind through dead reeds. Over 24 High-Cars Varnak leaders sat in a crescent of grave thrones, their forms tall, glistening, and insectoid, armored in chitin and vanity. Holograms of the lone ship floated above the central dais, rotating slowly. Ambassador Tholmet clacked his mandibles. "Perhaps it's a diplomatic envoy. A plea for mercy. Maybe. The humans know they cannot stand against the sovereignty." Lord Zetak chuckled again, a grating sound. "Or a sacrificial offering, a final symbol of their surrender." "Arrogant mammals," spat War Marshal Dreve. "Their worlds are spread thin, their fleets fractured, yet they still cling to this fantasy of defiance." "They've always been a sentimental species," added Lady Arvex, whose shimmering carapace changed hue with her mood, now a soft blue of condescension. "Romantic, poetic, pathetically brave." But not all voices in the chamber joined the laughter. Elder Sage Lorne turned his hollow eyes to the hologram. "They sent one ship," he said, quiet and deliberate, "and yet it reached us." The room stilled. "They crossed 4 defensive zones," he continued, "bypassed automated sentries, passed through the Drex Nebula's ionic web. That is not ignorance. That is intent." A heavy silence followed. "You suggest threat?" asked Arvex slowly. "I suggest caution," Lorne replied. "The humans do nothing without purpose." They all fell quiet at that, because deep down, even the most arrogant of the Varnak Council remembered the Terran incident. Decades ago, a minor Varnak colony vanished, erased completely from the galactic map, shortly after a human recon unit was sighted nearby. The records were buried, the survivors silenced, but whispers remained, of a retaliation so swift, so precise, that not even wreckage was left behind. Officially, it was deemed an internal Varnak fault, structural instability or reactor breach. Unofficially, the tale haunted them. Now, a human vessel, a lone ship, was parked just outside the diplomatic boundary of the sovereignty core worlds. Its name glowed on its hull in simple Terran letters, HSS Achilles, and it waited. No messages, no movement, just presence. On a secure communication thread, Sovereign Intelligence Director Veclor Hister's aides find out everything about that ship, every component, every captain ever assigned to it. I want to know who they are, what they want, and why they dare. Why doesn't it answer? Why doesn't it move? Above the crimson rings of Othral V, the HSS Achilles remained motionless, its silhouette sharp and cold against a backdrop of dying stars. Inside the Sovereignty's Supreme Battle Nexus, 3 Varnak warfleets mobilized, 57 ships, 6 dreadnoughts, quantum-laced plasma cannons and gravity lancers charged to full capacity. The order was given: destroy the intruder. Begin positioning. I want it surrounded from all 3 vectors. Barked Commander Graaltek, his segmented limbs tapping into the battle holos. "Shall we issue a warning, Supreme Commander?" asked a younger officer, his voice uncertain. Graaltek's mandibles flexed. "The humans are not owed words. Their existence in our territory is insult enough." The fleet surged into formation, but the Achilles didn't move. No distress signal. No surrender beacon. Not even an acknowledgement of hails. Still no response. Asked Graltek again, a trace of unease now in his tone. Nothing, replied the communications officer. It's like talking to stone. Tactical scan. Shields are active, but low. Weapon systems appear dormant. Then this ends now. Just as a command to fire was about to be spoken, the lights in the war room dimmed. An alert, a warning, a change. All 57 sovereignty ships were suddenly locking onto one another. What is this madness? Graltek roared. Override the targeting. Who scrambled the coordinates? No one, sir. Panic rose like radiation. It's coming from outside. From the human ship. For the first time in centuries, the battle-tested Varnak warfleet hesitated. Flashback, Earth, 6 months earlier. Underground, beneath the salt deserts of Nevada, General Amina Roy stared at the ship taking shape in the Megadome. 5 billion credits. 2 decades of research. All to build one ship. Her voice held no sarcasm, only the fatigue of duty. Dr. Elias Mercer, project head of Operation Achilles, adjusted his glasses. It's not just a ship, General. It's a message, a weapon, a story. Amina folded her arms. You better be right. Elias turned toward the growing hull, nanosteel layered with triple-insulated qubit nodes. This ship doesn't need a fleet. It is a fleet. What about the pilot? Amina asked. Elias hesitated. We found someone unique. Present sovereignty space. So, our scanners, they're being spoofed? The Varnak technician stammered. Every attempt to lock weapons on the human ship is redirected. We're firing blanks. Then fire manually. Graltek snarled. But even as the order was shouted, their primary systems began cycling through error codes and Terran characters. One by one, the fleet's displays began to flash. Do not move. Do not fire. Observe. A low hum echoed across the comm channels, like a heartbeat. So, the comms officer whispered, I think it's watching us. Flashback, Geneva, Earth. In a war room deep beneath the surface, Earth's leader stared at a galaxy map slowly being consumed by red. Sending a fleet is suicide, Admiral Saito said. We've seen what the sovereignty does to numbers. Then we don't send numbers, replied Dr. Mercer. We send an idea. One ship, but one they'll never forget. He tapped the map. It won't attack unless attacked. It won't speak unless spoken to. But it will exist where it should not exist. That alone will terrify them. The ship didn't speak. It moved. The sovereignty fleet drifted in a perfect crescent formation. 57 ships angled like blades, plasma cores humming. The Achilles remained at the center, untouched, unreadable, unmoved. Until now, without warning, without sound, the human vessel vanished. Not jumped, not cloaked, not teleported. It simply ceased to be where it had been. Where did it go? Barked Commander Graltek, antennae vibrating in alarm. Tactical systems are confused. Commander, the scan officer's voice cracked. Wait, there. The Achilles reappeared, a full 2 million kilometers from its previous position. Instantly. No known propulsion system can do that, whispered another officer. A moment later, it vanished again. This time it reappeared directly behind the Sovereignty Dreadnought Varric's teeth, less than a kilometer away. Alarms howled. Defense grids powered up. Too late. The Dreadnought's rear shield flared as if reacting to presence alone. But the Achilles did nothing. It didn't fire, didn't speak. It merely hovered, watching, waiting, daring. The Sovereignty ship scrambled into new formations, adjusting targeting matrices, recalibrating gravimetric fields. The Achilles vanished again. And again. Each reappearance was more erratic, more impossible, on top of asteroids, inside plasma storms, within the blind zone of sensor grids. No acceleration, no radiation wake. Just sudden, sovereign defiance of physics. Subspace readings are contradictory, the science officer stammered. So, it's folding spacetime on a local level. That's not propulsion. That's rewriting location. That's not possible. Graaltech shouted. I'm telling you what the sensors refuse to believe. Graaltech's full eyes narrowed. If we can't track it, maybe we can trap it. He gave the order, collapse formation. Box it in. 8 warships moved in perfect unison, forming a containment cube of quantum barriers around the last known position of the Achilles. The moment the net snapped shut, it appeared inside the flagship's bridge. Not the ship, a hologram, a human. You wanted a message. The voice echoed through every sovereignty vessel, clean and sharp, spoken in perfect Varnak dialect. Tall, pale, clad in matte black plating. The human figure stood in the center of Graaltech's command platform. No security measures triggered. No scanning tech had predicted the intrusion. The entire bridge crew froze. Graaltech rose, trembling, antennae flat against his skull. Who are you? Irrelevant. Why are you here? To be seen. The hologram blinked out. At the same instant, the Achilles reappeared above the fleet, outside the containment box, casting its angular shadow across the flagship like a god peering down from Olympus. Commander, a junior officer whispered, I don't think this is a warship. Graaltech turned to him. What are you saying? I think it's a test. A probe, not of our defenses, of our minds. Across the rest of the Sovereignty fleet, fear rippled in waves. Entire vessels broke formation. Captains issued contradictory orders. Crew reports filled with confusion, dread, and in one case, a mutiny. Because even without firing a single shot, the Achilles had won the most important battle. Perception. It was untouchable, unstoppable, and terrifyingly silent. Meanwhile, Earth Command, encrypted channel. Phase 1 confirmed, said Admiral Saito, observing the stream of sensor data from deep space. Sovereignty fleet scattered. Psychological disruption achieved. A young officer next to him shook his head. Sir, with respect, I don't understand. We could have sent more ships. A fleet. Why only one? Saito didn't take his eyes off the data. Because if you see one and walking into your house, you don't worry. He turned, eyes cold, but if that and smiles at you, disappears, and reappears behind your neck. The officer swallowed. Saito nodded grimly. You burned the house down. It wasn't just a ship. It was a statement, and it was watching everything. From the outside, the HSS Achilles was a sleek, predatory wedge of obsidian alloys, silent and unmoving once more after display of impossible maneuvers. But inside was a different world. Low amber lighting pulsed gently across the ceilings of smooth, matte black corridors. The air was clean, crisp, unnervingly quiet. No hum of engines, no clatter of boots. Only an ever-present rhythmic vibration, like a sleeping leviathan. At the center of it all, the bridge sphere. No chairs, no control consoles. Just a circular chamber of seamless glass with 360-degree projection feeds. The galaxy laid bare around them. In the center stood 5 figures, each handpicked, each irreplaceable. Commander Isha Calderon, 44, ex-Navy, war-scarred and fire-eyed, stood at the apex of the sphere. She didn't look like she was in command until you met her eyes. That gaze carried the weight of worlds. She was silent as she monitored the Sovereignty fleet fracturing on the outer display. Movement again, muttered Lieutenant Soren Vale, her tactical operations lead. Tall, wire-thin, and draped in a half-cape that billowed even when the air was still. They're afraid, he added. Good. Let them be. From the upper gantry, a calm voice drifted down. Let me guess. Soren, you want to strike now. Dr. Alina Petrov, systems theorist, floated halfway off the floor in a gravity harness. Her implants glowed faintly blue under her skin, her expression unreadable. No, Soren said, lips twisting. Not strike. Remind. We can vanish. Reappear. Be in their lungs if we choose. Alina exhaled. That's exactly why we won't. Below Deck 3, Core Systems. Chief Engineer Luke Mbe leaned over the exposed junction of a superconductive neural relay, fingers moving with surgeon-like precision. This thing's bleeding quantum noise again. he muttered. Beside him, the hull shivered slightly. "You feel that?" asked Ensign Milero, his apprentice. "Yep." "She's awake," Mbe whispered. "And she's twitchy." Midship AI Nexus, Level 0. A dark chamber. No light sources. Just a floating lattice of holograms, constantly shifting. Languages, equations, star maps, sovereignty ship layouts. Then a voice. Query. Update on enemy command hierarchy disruption. It wasn't human. It wasn't machine, either. Athena, the Achilles quantum-woven AI. Her voice echoed like wind through shattered glass. A blue projection flickered into place, an androgynous form with no face, only a luminous mask of data shards. Response. 4 to 2 enemy captains issue conflicting orders. 6 withdrew. 13 opened friendly fire. Probability of systemic collapse rising. Commander Calderon stepped into the Nexus. "Keep pressure low," she said. "Let them question reality." Athena turned her faceless head. "Acknowledge. Initiating psychological deconstruction protocol. Phase 2. Calderon turned to leave, but paused. "Has Phase 3 been modeled?" "Modeled. Not advised." Calderon's jaw tightened. "Just keep it ready." Conference deck, later. A rare moment of pause. The senior officers gathered around a translucent war table. The image of the Sovereignty fleet shimmered above it, fractured, spread out, suspicious. "What do they know?" Calderon asked. Alina answered, "They know we shouldn't exist, that we can't move the way we do, that our systems violate thermodynamics. They think we're lying." "They are wrong," said Mbe. "We've just evolved. They were busy dominating. We were busy surviving." "They are scanning us again," Vale reported, "trying to figure out the drive signature. Good luck with that." They all turned toward the center of the table, where the schematic to the Achilles core rotated slowly. No propulsion systems, no reactors, no engines, as anyone understood them. Instead, 3 impossible elements. The fold engine, a gravitic collapse mechanism powered by an exotic particle only stable within the ship's quantum cocoon. Athena, the AI that didn't follow commands. It interpreted intent. The Oracle Loop, a temporal echo array that collected probability from parallel quantum states. The ship didn't predict moves. It remembered them before they happened. Alina lowered her voice. "If they ever figure out what this ship really is." Commander Calderon nodded. "Then we're already dead." Below, crew quarters. The rest of the crew were just as varied as their technology. Scientists, linguists, cyber espers, deep space survivalists. Some wore uniforms. Others wore nothing but data jackets laced with sensory threads. Many were soldiers. A few weren't even fully human anymore, but all were volunteers. And every one of them knew the mission's official statement. Observe, evaluate, survive, do not initiate hostilities unless authorized by Earth Command or in self-defense. But under that, buried in deep black code, known only to Commander Calderon, Athena, and 2 others, was a real directive. Find the Sovereignty's weakness. Exploit it. And if it exists, end the war before it begins. Command Sphere, final moments. The projection of Sovereignty Fleet Command rotated slowly. Calderon watched it as the ship gently altered orientation. "They're afraid now," Vale murmured. "No," Calderon said quietly. "Not yet, but they will be." Athena's voice whispered over the speakers. "Incoming transmission. Encrypted. Source, Earth Command. Clearance, Omega Black." Calderon raised a brow. The room went silent. The Sovereignty Armada had never been bested. Thousands of years of expansion. Dozens of conquered systems. Billions enslaved or erased. Their fleets were engines of inevitability. Unbreakable, unshakable, perfect. Until now. Until one ship. Sovereignty Command Vessel, Tavatkor. High Commander Vozarak, a being whose 6-layered mind had outwitted entire civilizations, was not accustomed to hesitation. But now, in the heart of his warbridge, doubt slithered beneath his carapace. "Update," he hissed. Subcommander Telithron paled, her fronds twitching nervously. The human vessel has reappeared, High Commander, inside our formation. Vozarak stared. Inside? Clarify. Between the 11th and 12th wings. Close range. We're receiving conflicting data. Its location is unstable. Vozarak's 6 eyes focus on the central display. The human ship, Achilles, shimmered like a ghost, slipping between sensor ranges, moving as if it bent space itself. And then it fired. In space, near the gas giant Corvarin. Without warning, the Achilles launched a series of synchronized strikes, not at capital ships, not at weapons platforms, but at communication relays, targeting satellites, and signal triangulation nodes, the nervous system of the Sovereignty fleet. The effect was instantaneous. Entire wings lost coordination. Firing patterns desensed. Formation drift began in multiple sectors. The aliens who prided themselves on synchronization suddenly found themselves in chaos. On board the Achilles, signal web disruption complete, called Lieutenant Vale, his voice calm. Phase 2, Calderon ordered. Push the wound. Keep it bleeding. Sovereignty vessel Juthanarul, 12th Wing, Commander Kralith, seasoned warrior of 100 campaigns, screamed across the bridge as systems flickered erratically. Where are the targeting solutions? Gone, sir. We've lost link to fleet targeting. Kralith's jaw clicked. Then fire manually. We can't. The human ship is behind us now. Achilles. Athena's emotionless voice echoed. Next strike pattern predicted. Enemy morale projection. Dropping. Commander Calderon gave a nod. Let's break them. The Achilles spun, twisting space with it. Torpedoes launched, but not to kill. Each found engines, sensors, or command towers. Each cut the nerve endings, not the limbs. Psychological warfare. The Sovereignty ships began receiving phantom transmissions. Transmission, you are not safe. We are already inside your calculations. One ship, one warning. Entire crews heard their own language, their own voices, played back at them, warped, echoed, out of sync. Sovereignty psychology was built on certainty, order, perfection. Now, all they saw was doubt. Sabotage. Deep within one of the Sovereignty dreadnoughts, a dormant beacon blinked to life. One of the Achilles stealth drones, inserted weeks ago, cloaked in quantum noise, now activated. It injected virus code into their ship mind, sending false target data. The dreadnought fired on its own allies, back on the Tervath core. Vozarak's claws curled into the command dais. Is this madness? He whispered. Or brilliance? Subcommander Runn spoke weakly. The fleet is fracturing. Internal fire. Mutiny on 2 vessels. The shape of war is broken. Achilles Bridge. Their command structure snapping. Vale noted. Not enough, Calderon said, staring at the display. We don't want surrender. We want them to fear Earth. Athena's cold voice responded. Recommend. Ghost Protocol. Execute now. Calderon hesitated, then whispered. Do it. Ghost Protocol activated. Every system on the Achilles shut down. Engines, weapons, lights. The ship drifted dead, silent. To the Sovereignty, it looked like victory. They moved to close in. And then, nothing. The Achilles vanished. Not cloaked. Not stealth. Gone. Sovereignty comms. Target lost. No warp signature. No energy trail. Was it ever real? Some officers began screaming. Others stared at the empty void. An empire that thrived on control had just met a force it could neither kill nor understand. Alien Council transmission, hours later. From a secure chamber deep within Sovereignty Prime, a dozen council members reviewed the fragmented reports. They spoke in hushed tones, all mockery long gone. One asked, how much damage did the human vessel inflict? Another replied, minimal structural, catastrophic psychological. Back on the Achilles, lights flickered back on. Air systems hummed. The crew slowly unbuckled. Commander Calderon looked around. No losses. Athena replied, all systems nominal. Mission success. Fleet cohesion disrupted. Enemy psychological stability degraded. Calderon exhaled. We've made them bleed. Now, they'll wonder what we really are. Alien space, days later. Across the Sovereignty fleet, rumors spread like wildfire that the humans had created a living ship, that it could move through time, that it didn't kill because it didn't have to, and worst of all, that Earth sent only one ship because one was enough. The alien fleet lay scattered and disoriented, their pride shattered by the lone human ship's audacious tactics. Yet, despite the chaos and near defeat, the human vessel made no move to finish the battle. Instead, it slowed, drifting calmly near the center of the alien armada like a solitary beacon in the dark void. Inside the alien command chambers, the leaders stared at the silent screen relaying the human ship's next transmission. The air was thick with apprehension as the message began to decode. This was never about conquest, nor about subjugation or immediate domination. Our arrival was a warning, an unmistakable sign of what comes if peace is not chosen. We sent only one ship to test your resolve, your unity, your understanding of the stakes. Next time, we bring more. The room fell silent. The words echoed like a thunderclap. The aliens who had once seen humans as unpredictable brutes now glimpsed a different truth, one of calculated strategy and chilling intent beneath a veneer of lone bravery. One elder counselor, known for his hawkish stance, broke the silence. They did not come to negotiate. They did not come to conquer. They came to warn, to threaten, and they sent only one vessel. Another voice, softer but resolute, responded, "Perhaps we underestimated them. Perhaps the humans are not just warriors, but something more, a force that demands respect and caution." The council debated long into the hours that followed. The human ship remained a silent sentinel in their skies, its crew watching and waiting, their mission complete, at least for now. The alien leaders, humbled and shaken, reconsidered everything they thought they knew about humanity. They realized that the future was no longer theirs to decide alone. The final transmission from the human vessel blinked onto their screens once more. This was your first warning. Next time, we bring more. With that, the ship powered down its weapon systems and vanished into the stars, leaving behind an uneasy peace and a message that would resonate through generations.